We switch to melee stance. All right, 1 vaporize. Boom. My level 3 Childe just hit for 16,000 damage. Yo, what is going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another Genshin Impact video. For this video, I have been requested to go over Childe a lot because he's a very complex character. Huge complex facets to him, and there are 3 different playstyles that change your builds significantly for different ways of playing Childe, and all 3 of which will change your actual artifact build and your weapon builds for best possible weapons for Childe. This video is going to go over things that are good for free-to-play and pay-to-play players alike, and will help you understand where players can go with Childe and what you should be able to do if you are looking to play Childe in a different way. So I'm going to go over all 3 playstyles individually, and I will be going over the best artifact sets for those styles of play, as well as the best possible weapons for Childe going for those styles of play as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so we've done some level 3 testing on Childe, and we've kept him at very low level on purpose to test him with different stat builds. And we've tried many different ways of doing this already. We've seen the original way of playing it and just going spamming autos and stuff like that, doing normal attacks, all that craziness. All right, so the first thing that you need to know is I've tried him out with a bunch of different weapons so far. We've tried him with Rust to test it out with the Rust. We've tried out with the Stringless, and we tried it with Amos, and I've also played characters with Skyward Harp, so I know how that works. So the best possible weapon for Childe does not exist. It's actually different per playstyle. So there are 3 different ways of playing Childe. The first way of playing Childe is by using a bunch of normal attacks and hitting over and over and over again. When you switch to your other thing, using normal attacks, spamming, and using all that stuff. It's a spam build. This build in particular is really, really good with 2 different things. The first thing that you're going to want for this spam build is the Rust or the Skyward Harp. This is the best way to play this build. That's it. There's nothing else to it. For artifacts for this build, you would probably want to go with since you're just spamming attacks over and over and over again, the best way to go would be going with a 2-piece martial artist set or a 4-piece martial artist set, depending on how you would like to use your overall kit. If you want to just spam a lot of normal attacks, use throws, some charge attacks in between, but basically just spamming normal attacks, that is an amazing way to play Childe. It does ridiculous amounts of damage. Now, after 8 seconds, of course, you have an 8-second time frame to actually do even more damage. You get tons of damage for your normal attacks, way high damage. Martial art set does a massive amount of damage. Now, a lot of people say, "Wait, Seka, what about the gladiator set?" Well, of course, Childe is a character that uses a bow and does not use a claymore, polearm, or sword, so he cannot benefit off a 4-piece gladiator. So what you would have to do is use a 2-piece gladiator and another set to boost his damage. The other set that you would use most likely would be something like a noblesse set for the 2-piece noblesse set to get extra elemental damage, or potentially using extra skill damage or some kind of shield damage, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of different other things you can do with. You can use a 2-piece martial artist set if you wanted to, but what I have found is a 4-piece martial artist set will usually do more than a 2-piece gladiator set and a 2-piece martial artist set, unless you have a legendary artifacts. If you have legendary artifacts, then the gladiator set will be better than the martial artist set for either Childe or any other character in the game. I'll go over the spam build for Childe, giving you an idea of what you can do in order to increase your spam damage. Rust, Skyward Harp, best ways to go. Now, if you're like, "Oh, Seka, I don't have the monies, I do not have the Rust, please help," well, then you're gonna go in a different direction. So if you don't have Rust and you have Childe and you're like, "Oh, I want to use Childe, but I don't know how to use him and I don't know what to do," well, one of the things that you're going to do is you are going to be able to make 2 different weapons for Childe. The first weapon that you'll be able to make is, of course, the prototype crescent, and the second is the compound bow. Now, Fischl's best weapon in the game, of course, is the compound bow, and it relies heavily on physical damage for a craftable weapon if you do not have any other options. It's better than, I think an R2 Rust is better than or it's about the same as an R5 compound bow, and then R3 and above for Rust is a little bit better, and it scales differently. So for Childe, however, one of the things that's really interesting is that he will actually do fairly well with a prototype crescent, and the reason he'll do really well with the prototype crescent is because when you hit a aim shot with your charge attack, you actually get a critical hit. And because you get a critical hit, what happens with Child's actual passive talent set is you actually get when you do a charge attack, one of the things I like about the Riptide as far as a shield breaker is that the Riptide effect will do a burst damage flash and also do 3 different flash damage effects, of course, that do extra damage. So when you do hit with your Riptide for headshots, you get even more damage. So that means a charge attack can do very, very well here. So if you haven't seen it, go check out my Amber videos of how you can use Elemental Mastery as well as Elemental Reactions in order to boost your charge attack damage, and that is kind of similar to the idea we're going to be using here. Now, the third weapon that you could potentially use for Child as far as a 3-star weapon goes, I do not even have it because it's on my main account, would be the Sharpshooter Oath. Now, is this weapon, the Sharpshooter Oath, any good at all for Child? The answer is no. This weapon increases your headshot damage only and does not increase any other parts of your damage. The other option, of course, is the Messenger that boosts your aim shot damage by hitting a second hit in that will do extra damage. The answer is no. This weapon is also not good for Child. You would want to go with a different weapon because you're getting multiple hits after your initial hit, and that's why a 4-star weapon like the Prototype Crescent is a very, very good option. Now, if you do end up getting a 5-star weapon that is not either of these weapons and it ends up becoming the Amos Bow and you have something else, this is another way you can play the character and get any aim shot damage. So I'm gonna go explain this and show you guys how that works. All right, so we got some dudes over here. I'm gonna go ahead and apply Pyro to these guys real quick. I'm gonna switch over and I'm gonna get a headshot in this guy. Boom, 2300 vaporize. I am level 3, by the way, level 3. Okay, I'm gonna go with that, and then I'm gonna switch back over, shoot him in the face, and you can see it's applying Riptide while also doing the damage. So that is a really cool way of playing Child. I'm about to get hit here. Oh my god! That is a really, really cool way of playing Child to get damage in, to use a Vaporize mechanic by applying Pyro first and then using a headshot to get very large mass damage. This will also, since you're using a Prototype Crescent, increase your overall attack on your second hit by 36%, giving you a very large surge in damage. So that is another way that you can play Child. What's really cool is after you hit your first or second headshot, you can actually switch into this mode right here and then use charge attacks in order to boost your damage. Because you're using charge attacks, you can actually you can do normal attacks in this mode, whatever you would like to do. There's a lot of different ways that you can do damage in this mode. Now, if you are going to be using charge attacks to do damage, what actually happens is you can actually use a charge attack build, which is what I have currently right now. It is a Wanderer Troop build. Wanderer Troop, if you didn't know, is the Bard set that you get that looks like the little plume flavors that also comes along with Gladiator sets that you could potentially get when you're farming Gladiator sets and bosses. So a lot of people have very large access to this set right now, and actually you can use this on a Child build. This is a very, very interesting set that you can use in order to boost your damage in a really cool way. It also does have Elemental Mastery innately on this set, which makes it so that you can get your big reaction hits on your actual first hit. And if you are going to be using a charge attack at any point, you're actually going to be able to boost your damage when you're using a bow or catalyst, which you are going to be using all the time. So that is a very, very cool thing. Now, if you like this playstyle and you don't end up getting, and you don't want to end up making a Prototype Crescent, and you want to go with a better weapon or see what the best possible weapon to go with, one of the weapon recommendations I would give you, of course, is going with a Black Cliff Warbow. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the most crit damage, but it does have a very large crit damage modifier. It also does increase your attack percentage whenever you do get a kill, which is going to happen pretty often if you are using a headshot build. Because you get those big surge hits in, you do get a large amount of damage, and then, of course, since it boosts your crit damage, it is the highest possible damage that you can get with the actual charge shot bow for your 4-star weapon. For a 5-star weapon, of course, you would go with the Skyward Harp, because the Skyward Harp is a much better weapon and the best possible weapon for Child. And the last possible way of playing Child is with an ultimate rush strategy. Well, now this way it works, of course, you would use a Noblesse Oblige set. You can do this with a Hydro damage set in order to give yourself a large amount of damage on your Child for your ultimate damage, as well as boosting your other overall damage after that for 12 seconds, which is very cool. One of the things about Child, of course, with this set, you can actually use what's a stringless to get yourself a very, very large amount of damage, because a stringless is going to boost your overall elemental burst damage by 48%, making it so your ultimates can do en masse damage. I'm using a 70 one with this, and I guess we gotta go test it out. All right, cool. Let me switch to melee stance. All right, 1 vaporize. Boom. My level 3 Child just hit for 16,000 damage. Level 3. Level 3. So that's level 3. Level 3 Child. Okay. 1200 attack right now. 46% hydro damage, level 3 Childe. So if you wanted to know how to boost Childe's damage overall and get a very high amount of damage on Childe while using a reaction build, boosting your ultimate damage to get very, very, very high damage on Childe and get overall good damage for your ultimate, a Noblesse set, that's how you would build it, and that's what a better weapon would be in order to get your overall ultimate damage up. If you don't care so much about your other attacks after your ultimate damage, that's a good way to go. This one will nerf your normal attack damage after the fact, but also boost your ultimate damage, so you can have a give and take with this overall as a weapon. I would say this would be a great way to go, especially if you're using kind of a reaction play style in order to get large amounts of damage, get big surge damage in with Childe. I don't recommend this play style for too many kinds of players, but if you wanted to go with that, you could. Skyward Harp would also be a good way to go with this build because you can just build large amounts of damage. If you don't want to use that type of play style and you want to do kind of normal attack and just kind of stick with that, kind of do a hybrid, a Noblesse set with a hybrid is a good way to go in order to get yourself mass damage and do crazy good stuff. Well, my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you and give you some insight on what I would do in particular with every play style for Childe. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.